Okay, good evening. This is the East Lyme Board of Selectmen special meeting for the purpose of budget review. East Lyme Town Hall, upper meeting room. It's February 17th at 5:30. If we could rise and recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Joe's presentation is up.
Okay, so this is the phase when we, as a Board of Selectmen, review the budget. And we invite various departments to come and join us and make their presentation. And then at the end, we will eventually deliberate on their comments and their presentation. So first off tonight is Building Department. That's section 104. So who will be making the presentation? Oh, great. Hi, Frank.
Every set?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. This is new to me, so bear with me a little bit.
No, we're good.
Okay. You were just going over the Kev before. All the building officials line is up 14.58%. Includes one full-time building official and two part-time officials, which we're still working on. The admin portion of it is up 1.2.8%, so that's staying the same. And then, because personal services section is up 9% overall.
Okay.
Looks like the building permit software is down. They just started that this year, so that's down 20%. And then the dues and professional organization is up. That has a lot to do with continuing. We have to belong to the International Code Council, the Southeastern Connecticut Inspectors Association, and the state also. So there's funding in there for that. And yeah, that's probably the other bigger items.
Okay.
Transportation. Yeah, I don't know if you guys. That's kind of what I got. If you got any questions for me.
Let's see, it's pretty well spelled out in the comments section. I don't have any questions. Roseanne, do you have any questions?
I don't.
I don't know if Jason does.
Oh, let me go back 1 second. Jason, do you have any comments?
I do not. I'm sorry. I'm just struggling to get off mute here.
Okay. All right. Apparently not.
If you
So
want me to
what
go-
was, just to, for the personnel service building officials, can you explain what that was for again?
Oh, for the total on that.
Yeah,
It's up 9%.
So
Total.
I see 14 point.
Yep. So for the particular building official line, that is encompassing the full-time building official and two part-timers. In prior year, we had a full-timer and a full-time deputy. We got rid of the full-time deputy position and put in two part-time positions to eliminate the benefits.
Okay,
So that's why
understood.
there's a little additional bump there to pay for two 24 to 28 hour part-timers. So we were looking to get rid of the full-time model, move over to part-timers. So Frank is full-time official full-time chief building official, two part-time building officials. Same with the admin line. There's two full-time admins in that line.
Two full-time
Two
admin.
full-time admins. It is they get 2.75% contractual increases, but there's a new hire down there, so that's why it's not the full 2.75.
Okay, got it. Thank
Someone
you.
came in at less
Yeah.
of a rate, obviously.
Understood.
Great.
Thank you.
Candace, any questions?
Not at this point, no.
Okay. Cindy?
No questions.
I think we're all set then, Frank.
Okay, good.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks.
This is the most stressful part of the whole job. I think.
Nice meeting you.
Thank you very much. All right, the next section will be section 113, building maintenance.
Let's go right to info. Okay. Actually, if you don't mind, I have two that I'm going to be discussing.
Yeah,
The big one is the Highway Sanitation Engineering, Department 317, and then I can do 113 after. That's okay, because I have a PowerPoint, and that's kind of the way it's.
so you're going to be doing
Department
317 first.
Public Works.
Public Works?
Highway Sanitation Engineering. So, Joe Brigad, Public Works Director. I've been up in front of this board, this is my 12th year in front of it, and typically I go over the different things in the budget, but it's kind of getting difficult times. I get it. The budgets are getting really tough. I see the numbers, so I think I'm trying to take a step back a little bit this year, and I really think it's important. I'll go through as best I can, but just so the Board of Selectmen and people are seeing what we actually do, because there's a lot of stuff going on. I know there's $4.6 million, $4.7 million in this budget, but I think it's really important to know what we do, and also things that we have no control over in this budget that people aren't aware of, and then kind of go into some conclusions. Just one thing, just so everyone know, my deputy, Alex Close, is in the audience. I know he's come in front of you guys before, but he's been a huge help, so if Alex has any comments or something like that, he can jump in. So with that being said, let me see. Do I have the ability to click? Oh. Can you see? Can you see this? No, I mean, I'm trying to hit the arrow over and it doesn't go. I had it.
Well, that's a bummer. Where's your mouse? Hold on here. Here you go, buddy.
All right. Some vital services the town provides, and I have packets on this so that, I mean, so everyone knows, we maintain 118 miles of town roads and 17 miles of town sidewalks, so there's a lot of assets. If you ever had to reconstruct that whole thing, it's probably the biggest asset in town, and I know some people go to school, some people to police, some people fire. Almost every single person in town is either hitting a road or hitting a sidewalk, so it's pretty important stuff. As everyone's all aware, this winter we plow in salt, if anyone's not aware of that. And when we don't have a lot of salt, it shows up in the newspapers and stuff like that, but it's a huge function, and this is the kind of winters that the big boy trucks that you think, oh, do we really need those? They come in handy, so we need the equipment. Unlike a lot of other towns, we perform curbside garbage and recycling collection, and there's not a lot of people that even know that that's us. It's the town highway department that's staffing that, and we have sanitation foreman, 3 trucks on the road every day, 52 weeks a year. My kids sometimes it's life, liberty, or the pursuit of garbage pickup. Don't mess with people's garbage pickup. That's our department. We perform special collections. I've been in front of this board about leaf collection, God forbid. So we do that every fall. Pick up Christmas trees. We pick up bulky waste. So it's like a huge service. We operate the town's transfer station. And the theme I'm getting at is when you start doing all these things, it's people. And they add up, and it's like, it looks like we have 22 people in our department, but if you start adding the numbers up, there's not a lot of people left, because everyone, like in the transfer station, there's 3 people there Tuesday through Saturday. It's a very well-attended location, huge service for the town. We sweep all the town roads, so back to 118 miles. We sweep all those roads at least once a year. We do all the parking lots. We go down to the beach. We then go back. At special occasions, we come to sweeping. So we end up sweeping, a lot of roads twice. Then we maintain, believe it or not, there's 2,900 catch basins and about 300,000 linear feet of drainage. Now, that doesn't mean we're working on 300,000 feet of drainage every year, but some of that drainage has issues, and we have to address it. We're the ones that have to come to the rescue. We perform our own construction work. We have great workers that we go out there that saves the town a lot of money by fixing a lot of these catch basins, drainage projects. We do pavement repairs, other town projects. We want to work with a community center in the back area there. We can just send the equipment and they can do wonderful things, but that takes people. and it's a huge value to the taxpayers. We do multiple loops around town with the town cutting the roadside vegetation. You know, God forbid that piece of equipment goes down, and it went down for that. Our piece is probably 10 years old. It went down for like 7 weeks. We had to rent a piece because all you do is getting calls. The sight line at this location, the sight line at that location, all around town. I mean, as soon as we do one loop, I mean, we probably do about 5 loops a summer because we just had to keep going around cutting the grass. That's another person. We have 39 miles of double yellow line. We had 2 miles of white edge lines. All the stop bars, crosswalks, pavement markings in town is a lot. We maintain 1,500 streetlights. There's a lot there. That's you know, we get all the calls for that when they're out and they want them fixed right away. We maintain all the town vehicles. So we have 4 mechanics that we do the highway sanitation, but we fix the parks and rec vehicles, the police vehicles, ACO, senior buses, emergency management, general government vehicles. We are actually now fixing a lot of the fire vehicles, like the pickup trucks. We don't get in the apparatus and stuff like that because that has to be specially certified, but that's a lot of rolling stock of vehicles. It's like 150, 160 vehicles. It's a lot, and that's all done in-house, which saves the town a ton of money. We did combine Department 317 with engineering this year, and just some of the things that engineering does. They're downstairs with us, and Alex is really now the deputy, but is also serving the capacity of town engineer. We do a lot of in-house engineering services, which again saves the town a lot to do survey work in-house. We oversee in-house construction. What we do with a lot of our work is we put out on-call bid packages for drainage, sidewalk, and excavation. By doing that, whenever a project comes up, we just go to the on-call contract, use it. We've already bid it. It meets the purchasing policy and gets the best value of the town. But putting those packages together takes time. So meeting all that, it's easy to say you have a purchasing policy, but you have to put these packages out, and that staff does it. They do it in-house, and then we don't have to hire consultants to put this stuff out. So, and then the project administration. Examples of some of the projects, as you're well aware in this building, $500,000 project, the town ADA compliance, was all designed in-house, all administered. That would have been easily $100,000 to have someone design it, administer it, so that all in-house. Well, there's a lot of other examples like that, transfer station, EV charging. Alex Close has been fantastic doing administering a lot of these things. All these great things that are assets to the town are being done in-house that you don't have to like say, oh, well, we don't have anyone to do it. We do it, so it's really important. And for those who are walking up by the high school, last year we put in about 800 feet of sidewalk along Boston Post Road. That would have been an extremely expensive project, but in-house, on-call sidewalk project did it for $56,000 or something like that. I mean, that would have been a $150,000 project if you put it out, and had contractors, and we had nothing to do with it. So this really limits consultants. A few other things from the engineering side. We're applying for a lot of things, administering grants that are not taxpayer dollars. I mean, they're still out of someone's pocket. They're coming from somewhere, outside funding, but STEEP grant. You'll see the plant stem, the rebuilding of that. That was put in about 3 years ago from engineering, put that package together for STEEP. We got $500,000. Now we're rebuilding a dam that we would have had to replace, and we're doing it. And the only thing I think we requested is if we go over the 500, if it comes in at 550, we have much to cover it. Load SIP, Mr. Close put together that's a project that we're completely administering. It should start later this year, probably more like next year, $3.3 million project, but sidewalks all down there. That has to be managed. The federal local bridge program for Colony Road, Fairhaven, near and dear, everyone wants to look at the old PD as far as this remediation. Well, where are all those emails come? Engineering. How is this going to be managed? I say these because I just added up $21 million worth of projects that we're trying to manage right now. On top of working with land use office, technical review. If you come in for a town right-of-way permit, driveway permit, we work with other departments, whether it's Parks and Rec, a project down there, or facilities. We work with fire departments. We work with different to work on buildings. Managing the town pavement management program, we put that money in every year, the $850, which is maybe it's looking like it's getting cut this year. But taking that money and how do you best use it to make the best bang for the buck for taxpayers, and that has to be managed. Contractors coming in. I said that 17 miles of sidewalk. We inspect all the sidewalk, walk all the sidewalk, find all the areas that have little hazards, and we fix them. Someone has to do that. And then managing all the town, federal, and state permits. So there's a lot. We have a lot to do. Our department takes a lot of pride in it, but I just wanted to say that stuff. I know you guys are aware of that, but these meetings are taped. That the highway department is more than just plowing the roads or doing this or doing that. There's a lot of stuff going on. We also have a lot of variables in our budget that are really difficult to deal with, like this year. The salt, I was in front of this board last year, and we had 100-something thousand cut from storm materials. I know I proposed, well, why don't you cut it from here, because it's been really light the last 3 winters, and then all of a sudden, wow, bango, now we're, it's a heavy salt year. Our overtime line a few years ago was like 70,000. Right now it's at 180,000. And we got a storm coming this weekend. Every storm this year has come on a weekend. When it's on the weekend, every single minute they work is overtime. That hasn't worked out well. Emergency construction repairs come up with that 300,000 linear feet of drainage. Something might collapse or something like that. We have to get in there and do it. It's in our budget. The trash, we have to absorb the trash. So just so everyone knows, the taxpayer dollars, it doesn't cover the garbage can. It covers the disposal where we dump it. So East Lyme picks it up, and all the trash that we have over a course of a year gets billed to us. It gets sent to finance. I don't have a crystal ball of knowing how much trash people are going to, so it's a guesstimate. But some years, there's growth in this town. So if the trash comes in higher, we have to absorb the cost. Number of streetlights. I don't know how many streetlights are going to break this. There's been more problems. One of the issues with the streetlights that's happening is there's more neighborhoods that don't have the power lines, the conventional light. They have like a post, like in Orchards, or there's other neighborhoods that don't have power lines in them. When that light goes off, most of the time it's a fault in the ground. So instead of replacing a $300 fixture, it's a $5,000 repair to fix whatever's in the ground. So these are some of the challenges. I don't know how many of those are. Dead trees, they're popping up all over. And then the fuel, we absorb the cost of all the department's fuel, so I don't know what the other departments are using. And if, there was a discussion of the animal control, wanting to get a second truck. It's not going to be there, but that impacts our fuel because that money gets sent to us. So these kind of things can impact our department. So I want to get into now, after what we do, the things we have little control over. So with garbage, in your book, line 54101, the garbage recycling is up 41,100. It's already been cut 12,000, which I didn't get it. We have to do what we got to do. But that line is made up of 3 parts. 86% of that is the trash that we throw in the cans. When that trash that everyone throws in the cans goes up to Lisbon, the incinerator, they send us a bill. So that's 86% of that. East Lyme typically sends about 10,000 tons of trash. It could be 10,300, could be 9,900, I don't know, but that's a variable cost. The other is disposal cost. If more people are sending bulky waste up to the transfer station, there's more of a cost, but there's more of an offsetting revenue. So if I'm having more cost of bulky than I expected, I'll tell Kevin and I'll tell Dan that we have more cost, but we have more revenue associated. So it's just a constant discussion with them. Just so everyone's aware, and the line of garbage, the scare tip fee has gone up 11% this year, went up 11% last year. It sounds like a lot, but it's still an incredible deal for the town of East Lyme. We pay $75.06 this year for trash when we go up there. Next year it's going to be $83.10. The average market rate in the area is $110 to $115 right now, so we are so far below. And SCARA picks up the cost of our recycling. If SCARA didn't pick up our recycling costs, that'd be another $180,000 to our budget. So SCARA is a friend. The fact that they're going up to 11% a year is the problem. Is they have an unbelievable contract. I'm the president of SCARA, but there's a cliff because our contract runs out in 2030. So they're trying to escalate it to get it up to market, so that when it gets to market, I don't ask you then for $300,000 that year, because all of a sudden the market exploded. So that's why, just to let you know, they have meetings that educate. Kevin and Dan went to meetings where we educate on the reality of trash, and if you ever want to hear, I can talk trash with you about the trash market in the state of Connecticut. So fleet maintenance, another line we have little control over. Factors affecting the line, it's tough, and when residents come in and we understand they're on fixed things, and so that, they're like, well, the inflation rate's only 3%, why is this up? Inflation rates don't necessarily tie to what it costs to fix vehicles. I mean, if the cost of parts, which we find in supplies, are going through the roof, we have to pay them. We do have aging vehicles. I mean, I went over all the different departments that have vehicles. We maintain them. All those, anything that's a repair, like it's a police vehicle, Parks and Rec, that gets charged to the highway budget. So if we have a bad year in expenses, then we absorb the cost, not the other departments. I know the reality, because I'll talk to you later about the CIPs. When you defer replacements on CIP vehicles, it drives up the costs, and then that comes out of our budget. And then I understand there's been a concerted effort not to grow the fleet, but the fleet has been growing. So, if like this, this year's budget, I know we cut the zoning vehicle, but the zoning officer might now have a vehicle, a used vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's used or new. If they're still driving around, or if the police have something extra, or emergency management director got a used vehicle. All these things are gas that gets charged to our department. So those are things that we don't control. Now I finally got a chart for you, so you can look at a chart. But this is a scary chart. This is the reality of our fleet maintenance costs over the last 4 years. Our budget is not keeping up with the actual cost, and what we end up having to do is the department has to absorb those costs. It's kind of the theme. They have to absorb it out of roads and out of other lines, so it makes it very, very lean. This actual year, we're on the pace to probably be at about 400,000, but our budget's at 300. Taking it out of Town Aid Road, which doesn't allow us, and that's the same line that we were going to take salt out of, so it's kind of a dose of reality. It comes with trying to absorb things, but the 330 is a reasonable amount, because last year we had 318,000. The year before was 309. The 400 this year, we had some really crazy things go wrong. But we really have to, if during the budget process, let's knock 10,000 off it. Just be aware that the 330 isn't even enough. We have to just be mindful of that. Another thing, fuel. I talked about the fuel. We cover the fuel for Parks and Rec, police, fire, ACO, all these different departments. The fuel bill gets sent to us, and we don't know the exact, amount of usage. I do keep, it's in the budget packet, and I know I don't expect you to see the numbers here, but I watch every penny and every gallon that's used for all departments over all the different years and try to best guesstimate the usage to be able to predict the next year, because it's the only thing we can do, because the town has to pay for it. So the other thing is our department buys all the fuel for the town, and that's not just, that's Board of Ed, town, water, sewer. I was emailing Kevin and Dan for a while way back when there was like watching the market. It's like going to Mohegan Sun trying to buy fuel futures, because it's a very very highly bouncy market. We were able to buy at the lows, so we actually purchased the unleaded and diesel for 7.7 and 12.3 less than we're paying now, which when I was talking to Mariana from the Board of Ed, and just in general, anything you can get less than last year is a win. So we bought that for less. So why in your thing is the budget line shows we're up 3.1%. There's a few factors. One, as this board is aware, the town absorbed the cost of the fire department last year when East Lyme ambulance went over here and fire went here. The fire department used to get paid, the gas used to be paid by East Lyme ambulance. Now it's paid by our department. So that alone added 8,000, because we added 17 and 16,000 to this current year, and they're going to be projecting about 24, 25 this year. So we're already 8,000 over. So that's an issue, but we're absorbing that. The other thing is the fuel system has, just like every other software system, it's a $5,000 fee to manage the Fuel Master system. Highway used to absorb that. Now this year we're pooling it, that cost and all the fuel maintenance. Like if we have repairs at our fueling stations, then all those are getting pooled together. Where I divided it by the total number of gallons that everyone buys in town, water, sewer, Board of Ed, and it's getting added to the per cost. So even though I bought the fuel for less, I actually had to add like 5 cents a gallon to everyone. So everyone is spreading out the cost of, to fuel. Like if someone comes up and, fuels thing, then the cost of the fueling, which is the Fuel Master program, and all the repairs have to be spread equally amongst everyone. More things we don't have control over. Streetlights. This is a quick, I I just want to make sure, because even though streetlights costs are going up, and for some of the board members that were here, 11 years ago, we bought the streetlights. So, and some of you remember my speech about buying them. In October 2015, we bought the lights. $230,000, we purchased them. Oh no, I'm sorry. We bought them for $420. We spent another $550 to relamp the town. We take a 7-year loan, and we basically mimicked what we were paying. So back then, we were paying $230,000 a year for streetlights. That was back in 2015. We did the 7-year loan. Back in 22-23, so that's what, 3 years ago, we paid the last payment. So we'd be, if we didn't make that move, we'd be, I mean, for everyone's home electric bill, I mean, can you imagine? It was $230 10 years ago. That bill, that line would have been $280, $300 now. And our line is only, this year was $79,000. So it was the right move, but we're 10 years into this, so we're having more lights that aren't working. You can drive around town. So this is a good little graph here. Back in 22-23, the first column, the budget was high because we made our last the 7th payment. The next year, 23-24, the budget was 67, and the actual was 62. But if you see a trend, the next year's the repair costs. This is where I'm talking about all these neighborhood repairs where we have all these underground faults and stuff like that. This year we have our budget 79, and I'm projecting we're going to come in at 99. So I'm 20,000 over.
Just a quick question.
Sure.
So I'm looking at streetlights, and it said your actual expense was $96,610, right, for 2025? So,
Where does that come from?
yeah, because the revised budget was 79,000,
So I take it out another line, and sometimes we move
Okay.
the money, some we don't, but I didn't come back to the board, selectmen,
Okay, I
the
was
board
gonna
finance.
say, yeah, I didn't see you
We
do
never ask
that.
for more money. It basically comes out of road recon. It
So
comes
you
out
take
of,
it out of somewhere
we
else?
move it another line. So that's part of that whole variable. Like, there's so many variables nature that, you know, when our budget gets cut, it takes any of that wiggle room out. So I will have to come back and say, hey, we're over $20,000. What are we going to do about it? But we take it out of roads, or we take it out of something like that. But we've cut so much back that it's getting things. But this is a very timely, or very showing graph of the streetlight cost. But still, even at $100,000, if we didn't do anything 11 years ago, we'd be at 300. So it was still a good move. It's just there's more lights that are out. Things a little control is a common theme. You'll hear about the UPSU contract with a lot of town workers. It's contractual GWI at 2.75. We did have a few guys that got their CDLs and were upgraded in classification. So the line that you're looking at is 3.46. And just so you know, like this department is not asking for more people. If anything, this year we're actually one person less than we were always. We used to always be at 23. This year is the first year we're at 22. So not only are we doing all these things, but we actually did it with one less person. So let's cut some people or do something like that. And we're already down people, but we're doing the best we can. Overtime highway. Besides the scary thing I told you about this winter, we're at 180 before this weekend. There's also, Silver East Lyme. We have 6 guys out there for 12 hours. Light parade, we're asked to clean the town. Covering shifts on the weekend if transfer station guys, the regular guys aren't there. Sanitation, when there's days when people, one person wants their garbage picked up across town because we missed their can and we have to go there. Then all of a sudden they're running an hour late or something like that. There's overtime involved in double collection days, all the call-outs during the day, during the year. But just the awesome thing is, in the winter when we have the storm overtime, all the other departments that come in, and Parks and Rec, and they're great working with us, water and sewer. It's great that we have this resource that has these, like Parks and Rec does the parking lots and we do the town. Everything gets charged to highway. So we bring in 2 water department guys or sewer guys to help highway. Everything gets charged to our overtime line. So, it might be great that you have all these extra people to fight this storm. You pay for it on this line. So it's not like those other, nor should those departments have to pay. There is on there, and I'm kind of going over lines that might, so at the end, obviously, if you have questions, but the Public Works, the first line in there, line 516118, Public Works Supervisors and Engineering Staff, there's like a 13% or something like that. Seems like, oh, well, is everyone getting humongous raises? Just to let you know, last year during the budget cycle, our longtime Deputy Director, Bill Shear, retired right around this time, February last year. At the time, we were in that budget cycle, we promoted Alex Close to deputy, and we didn't fill the position that Alex was in, and then said, let's not fill that till the second half of the year. Well, now we're in the second half of the year, so even though it looks like an increase, it was a cut from last year. So we're just trying to get that person back to try to do the $21 million worth of projects and all the things that we need to do. So it's not like we're adding people, we're just putting back what we had from last year. So tree maintenance. You'll see a line for tree maintenance at 10,000 more. The town is responsible for all the trees in town. More people know about it now. All you have to read is social media, go on Facebook, oh yeah, that's the town. So they call it, and what we do is we look to see if it's in the right of way. You know, a lot of people tend to say, isn't it 10 feet from the road? It's not, it's whatever your property line is. And if that tree is in the town right of way, we're responsible for it. So if the tree's dead, I'm the tree warden, Justin Porter is my deputy, we'll have to take that tree down. Well, there's a lot of dead trees. I try not to put my head up all the time because this budget will be $200,000. But we do what we have for public safety. So we had 50,000. That money goes quick because we don't have a bucket truck, and we can't do that stuff ourselves. And we totally understand that. But we had to pay tree contractors, and tree contractors aren't cheap if you've ever had one at your house. The other thing, this line we do is cutting the tree canopy, and we spent about 20,000 this year. So what is a tree canopy? So I have a picture. When you're driving on the road, say you're on Scott Road or something like that, and you have like a bus goes by or the dump truck or something like that and it scrapes on all the stuff, that's the tree canopy. You need to keep all your branches about 13, 14 feet in the air. So 118 miles of road, all the branches driving in. If you do nothing about the tree canopy, it will be a major problem in the next 5 years. So what we try to do is proactively go out and try to trim. But I spent $20,000 this year on 1 mile of road. And that's why we're originally trying to do the bucket truck, because we could do a lot with our own people, but it's obviously there's a cost to the truck and then the responsibility and liability. But that's why the extra 10,000 is there, but if that is a line that you have to cut, it just so the expectation know that we're just not going to do tree canopy work, and that's going to become a problem because we can't do it. That's got to be contracted work. It's very slow to do tree canopy work. It's not like cutting down a tree where you're not worried about it. You just drop the wood. If you've ever seen a dead tree come down, it comes down quick. They just keep dropping and dropping. And when you're cutting tree canopy, go 100 feet, set the truck up, cut a branch, stop, get all the outriggers back in, go another 100 feet. That's what it is. So it's very slow, but it's a necessary evil, and that's why we're proposing that additional amount. So in conclusion, which is I'm sure you want to hear, our budget is pretty lean for what we do, in our opinion. We look at our expenses all year long. My staff is sick of me because I go through it every month and watch every penny and know what we have in there, know how we balance it, keep the Director of Finance and First Selectmen in the loop of what we're going over on and how we're going to make it up so we don't have to come back. Last year, the budget cycle, we got cut $208,662. That hurt. This one, we already got 37. I totally understand. And by the way, I live in town, I'm a taxpayer, so I totally understand why it has to be done. These are realities. We're currently sitting at a 5% overall increase. And my last thing is we'll do the best we can with the funding provided. We're getting to the point where, that's why I told you all the things we do. If there's any more cuts there, we really are just going to have to figure out and work with the First Selectman of what we can't do, because we're being as efficient and effective as absolutely possible. So, questions?
First, I want to say thank you, Joe, for a very detailed and thorough presentation. It really helps us to have some of those details as we evaluate the budget and figure out where we can cut and where we shouldn't cut. So I want to thank you for that. I'll start at the other end. Cindy, do you have any questions?
No, not that I can say. No.
Candace?
I have no questions other than just stating thank you for all that you do, Joe.
Thank you.
I mean, I know that you have a tremendous job, and you do it very, very well.
We have great staff, so I'm very,
You do.
very
You absolutely
fortunate.
do. I am going to ask you, because the truth of the matter is we have an incredibly large budget in front of us, and very little decreases thus far. I haven't seen any from the First Selectman's office at all. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I mean, the last meeting I went home shaking my head and side-eyed. because realistically, looking at the impact, say if this were to move forward as is, what the realistic impact on our taxpayers are. I know you are one, I am too. And we have to find a balance, we have to find a balance. And the way that I like to navigate, and the way that I have in the past, the Board of Ed level, is asking district heads, if you had to scrape off of the budget that you have, where would you go? You know, what can we do? And giving that autonomy to them versus me doing it for them or us doing it for them. I feel like, you know, we are built on relationships, right? And it's just simply rude. I don't think that myself and or anyone else has a true, really knows your department better than you, right? And it's a respect level, to be honest with you, to look at a department head and say, I'll give you the autonomy to scrape off the budget versus myself and or anyone else. So I would like you to relook at it. And come back, okay? And I'm gonna give you that. I'm not gonna give a percentage rate, but I would like you to relook at it, okay? And I want you to know that I'm gonna be asking all departments to do this.
No, I understand.
You know, you could have the blanket statement, all right, listen, I want everybody to come back with, you know, 10%, 15% less. And I think that that's fair to a certain extent. It wouldn't be fair to some of our smaller departments to ask them to scrape off 10%. It's a big department. So I would like you to relook at it, okay? Just with all fairness.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair. And just to back up the statement, you said about our department did get 37,000 in cuts. That's not nominal.
No, it's not.
And I get it, and I kind of alluded to right when I said the trees. I have 10,000 more in trees. That can certainly be cut. But I know that you're not asking for it right now, but I will look at it. I
appreciate
look at this all the time. It's going to be hard because something is going to have to give. It's just a matter of what they, you know, for instance, like at Celebrity Slime, they could raise the fees of all the vendors so that pay for our overtime, or we have less people, but that would be a mess in the town. I'm not, just in general, like, there's things that we're asked to do that we jump in and do, but we're not, are not doing that anymore. We're already doing that. We catch a lot of flack, but it's the right thing to do for the 18,000 people, so I will do that.
Thank you.
I hear you loud and clear.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace. Ken?
So I just had a question about traffic calming measures. So it's number 54317. You have 5,000 for that, which I know isn't much, but I guess maybe this is more to the board too. We're putting in place the ordinance for the e-tickets. Yeah. So I didn't know exactly maybe what this calming measure is exactly, and if it is, and if you even know, I'm not sure who would know, answer the question, if it's effective, these traffic calming measures. And
they
what
are.
Specifically. That
Well,
you're
so
doing.
I'll tell you, one of the main things, we used to put the digital speed signs. We haven't bought one in about a year or two, and those are like 4,000, but we have 6 or 7 of those, and that's like a policing thing, bless you. Where we're going a lot now is with edge lines. If you go up Grand Street, Smith Ave, if you do a lot of white edge lines, it definitely calms the traffic. When you have these wide roads, when you start, so that isn't a line that could be cut, but it will. One of the biggest complaints the police has, and everyone's always complaining, they want more speed limit signs everywhere. Well, people that are speeding obviously aren't looking at those lines because they're going way too fast. So, you know, we're trying to find other measures and looking at some of these roads that have sharp curves and try to, you know, narrow people down by, you know what I'm talking about, the white edge lines?
Yeah, no, I know exactly
If you're driving on a road that's 30 feet and then a typical lane is 12, we did it on Pine Grove. If you drive to Pine Grove, there used to be a nice real wide, you're down there. You go down there, the white edge lines, everyone's like, after we did it, everyone's like, this is great, because now people have to drive in a 12-foot space instead of a 16-foot pace where they feel a lot more comfortable and can go a lot faster. So that's what our approach has been, is to try to slow people down. But obviously with where Candace is saying, anywhere, that's not absolutely vital. I mean, it's nice that people slow down, but we still have to pick up the garbage, we still have to plow the roads, we still have to do the other things. Maybe that has to give, and that will be one of the things we look at. But that's where we've been concentrating our efforts is because the white edge lines aren't cheap, but they definitely have been slowing traffic down. If you can make someone more uncomfortable without having an object, then someone's driving, they got two hands on the road, and they're on their wheel, and they're going a little, they're driving slower because they see that edge line, so I got to stay on that edge line. We didn't pay for it, but I petitioned the DOT to put the white edge lines on Main Street. It's made a huge difference because now people feel like they can park a car and open a door without risking their life. All the hatch marks at the crosswalks, our department. No one asked us to do that. We saw it on social media, and everyone said, "What can you do?" And everyone says, "There's nothing you can do." Well, we figured it out, and now it's a lot safer down there. Traffic calming things, because we did it all by the crosswalks. It eliminated some parking, but just to let everyone know, we didn't eliminate any legal parking. That was all illegal parking. You're not allowed to park 15 feet from a crosswalk and 25 feet from an intersection anywhere. We just applied that and put lines so the police could see where the line is. But that's just a good example. That was, if you go up Methodist Street now, it's a lot more lined as you go there, so it's a lot more traffic calming. These are the things we're doing with this. We're trying to be creative to make it a better, safer roads, traffic calming. So we can cut it. It's just we can't do things like that because we won't have the funds to do it. We have to, because we do have to put the double yellows out there. That's kind of mandated. And as you said, we had 39 miles of them. Mm-hmm. That's a $17,000 expense. So.
And then when you do the yellow lines, is that when you do the white lines too at the same time, or is it
a
whole separate thing?
Well, the truck has to switch up the paints and all, but it's the same truck.
Okay.
Yeah,
Right.
Same truck. We don't do it. We don't have the ability to do that. It's contracted work. We do it off of a purchasing council. But they'll come in and do all the double yellows, and then they'll come back, change the heads, and then do the white. But we only have 2 miles of that, and then we have to do all the stop bars. I mean, maybe we won't have to be able to paint all the stop bars and crosswalks and stuff like that. I mean, this is just a lot. I'll just have to look, as Ken is saying, I'll have to look at what's most critical, and then all the other stuff we just might have to forego. But it's going to come at a lot of people calling, and it's not blaming this board. It's not blaming anything. It's just the reality that we don't have. That was my last line. We'll do what we can with the funds we provided, but we do a lot. What do you not want us to do?
Yeah. No, I understand. And yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Roseanne?
Yes. You probably have one of the most complicated budgets in town. And there's a lot of things in that budget that are hidden that people don't know about. A lot of things that your department does that help other departments, and those things don't appear in their budget. They appear in your budget. And so I think a number of things that have happened in recent years with the amount of development that we're facing. The developers come in and build and then they leave. And we are left to pay the extra cost of the extra number of arms that truck has to go up and down each day to pick up trash. Big wear on equipment, the amount of extra traffic on our roads, particularly many of our older roads where there isn't the kind of sophisticated underbuilding that we have today, underline quotes. And I think as we're looking at mandates that the state is bringing down upon us with a more dense population, more dense housing, that's more demand for services at a reduced cost for those people who are not maintaining, let's say, individual residences on a larger plot of land. So I think that there are a lot of things to be considered in your department, which I don't see us being able to really reduce the cost on. I think that there are a lot of things that are already being done that are more than what's expected. And again, we'll have to take a close look at the budget, but I think that we're all very aware and very appreciative of the extra things that are done by this department. I like getting my trash picked up every week. That's when I can get it to the side of the road. It's done every week. I don't know of too many other towns that have weekly trash collection. Every other week your recycling picked up. And these are all services that we're very fortunate to have, and we need to pay for them.
Thank you very much. There's a lot of towns that actually trash is not part of their taxes.
I know.
And Montville's not, Groton's not. subscription-based. Stonington's pay-as-you-throw, so I didn't realize until COVID how important the trash was, because when they were talking who's the essential workers, okay, our guys aren't going to go out. Oh yeah, your guys are going out. So the trash is probably one of the biggest things in town. You don't pick up the trash, and all hell's going to break loose.
Yeah. He's not on. Okay. Well, I echo a lot of what Roseanne pointed out. You do an awful lot with what I think is a very tight budget. I did have one question, though. On the when I was there, I remember when we approved the streetlights, the LED streetlights, way back when.
Yep.
And it has been a great thing. We've saved a lot of money over the years. I just had a question on the maintenance. Now, it's one thing when an LED bulb burns out and it's easy enough to replace the LED bulb, but when it stops working because of it's underground, we're responsible for that piece of it if it's
Yes.
if we're in a neighborhood where they put in
Correct.
underground utilities.
So a lot of times it's an underground fault. So what we hire out is we hire an on-call electrician that goes out there, and they have to find what's wrong with it. And once
Right.
they find out if there's a fault, we have to fix it. A lot of times there's broken wires. What Eversource requires us to do is fix the wires and bring it right up to a handhold right by the pole, and then they connect it. So we get kind of double whacked. We have our electrician go out there to fix it, and then our electrician can't tie it back into the system, the grid. Then you have to call Eversource, and then they have to charge us another $500-$600 to show up and connect it. So
I see.
the underground ones are, I could get rid of them, or if people call up and say we're not fixing those, that would be a big savings. But that's not what people like to hear. There's just a lot more things coming up with our lights. It is 10
Yeah.
years. I know Kevin brought up whether we need to start putting aside more. I think we're okay still now, but the lights are starting to get a little concerning, because there's more of these neighborhoods where these lights, if you have 5 of these lights that go out and it's 4,000, there's 20 grand right there. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a lot of money.
Well, there's two things going on. I mean, it's one thing, LEDs people think they last forever, but they don't.
And 20 years.
So they have longevity, but the other cycle that is independent of the LED lights is the underground wiring, which can deteriorate and it seems that is hard to predict. I mean, you might know that a light has been up there for 20 years and you can predict the cycle of replacing the lights themselves, but when they stop working because it's an underground cable situation, that can get very expensive very quickly.
There's another element that's been bogging us down the last few years is, and it's good for the town, but as Eversource replaces their utility poles,
Yeah.
if we have a light on it, they charge me $600 to switch it over. So every single one of those, I have no idea which light, how many poles, again, another thing, we're out of control, but I get bills all the time. We replaced these 10 poles that had street lights on them. If there's an accident where the light hits it, we first thing, police department, accident report, because we try to charge it to the insurance. But anytime that they switch a utility pole, like you remember they were doing that one right down by the bank here,
Yeah.
it was kind of utility light on there, okay, another $600. I mean, every single time they switch it over, because we don't have the ability to switch it, so they just switch them. We have an agreement when they switch them over and then charge
They
us.
charge us for that.
They send us the bill.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any other questions on this part of the budget for Joe?
Joe, Eversource won't do anything in the ground then, they'll just do their part.
As I said, they want a handhold right next to the light. It's not their responsibility to chase it 40, because their answer is going to be, that's not our problem, then don't turn the light on. Like, if we want the light on, we have to get the wire to the pole right for them in a handhold that they can connect, because the wire comes from the standalone pole.
Yep.
The wire is daisy chained in a conduit somewhere. We have to find out where in the conduit the fault was, fix that, bring the wire to that spot that connects to the standalone pole. That's what everything has to be ready for them, sitting in a handhold, then they connect it. Anything short of that, they tell us a note, says, not our problem.
Well, this isn't the time for this discussion, but I would like to look into see if there's a way to replace those lights with solar options if we encounter lights that are burning out and need, $5,000 underground cabling replacement. Maybe there's an independent solar option. Not for this discussion
So,
tonight.
yeah,
but
we could look into
I'd like
it.
to look into that.
Yeah, they'd have to be the right spot
Yeah.
as far as they get.
It would be
because-
self-contained.
Yeah.
Okay, any other questions? All right, now, you were going to also do...
Yep, so the next one is Apartment 113.
Great, thank you.
Yep. This one is a lot quicker. It's not as much there. Can you switch me over?
Where am I looking for that?
It's right after.
Yeah, Department 113.
Okay.
All right, this one is, it's a smaller budget by sheer number, and the budget is only up 3.34%. This one, it's pretty self-evident, I think, what building maintenance we clean, we fix. So I was just going to go over some of the highlights of some of the line items. Everyone know where we're at? 113. Okay, the first one is the custodian line, 51,618. In the detail, I go over where we have custodians, and I really don't think we have extra. We don't have a plethora of them, but we have enough to keep our buildings. If anyone doesn't really say anything, it's like an umpire. If anyone doesn't say anything, things must be going pretty well. So that line's only up 2.75. That's the contractual amount.
Is everyone, all the board members on that page?
Yeah.
You good? Okay. Just wanna make sure.
Okay.
Thank you. Yep.
The overtime line, it seems like it's up a higher percentage. Just so everyone knows, last year was of the first year of a contract, so all the salary numbers were fixed. And then Kevin Gervais brought the money over from labor contingency. There was no money brought over specific for labor contingency for overtime. So, when you're paying people more and they're getting time and a half, it was a higher amount. But I do have in here what the 21,800. This is a debate we had in the Board of Selectmen a few years back, and members of here, I'm sure, happy to hear that. But that has worked out pretty well of keeping custodial coverage on the weekends, 8.5 hours on Saturdays, 50 weeks a year, 4 hours on Sundays, 34 weeks. I have the wrong number of weeks, 35, 34, but it's basically the reason Sundays is less is the library's not open during the summer on Sundays, but it's all calculated out, and then we have another 2,500 cover for call-outs. We had a lot of different, whenever it snows, they got to come in and shovel after hours, and different times for overtime for building maintenance. The building maintenance line 56,114. There's a lot of pressure, as some of you have been. You've seen in the community center, but we did a walkthrough for the CIP committee. There's a lot of been improvements in that building and other places. That's coming. Staff is doing it. Phenomenal value to taxpayers. But when you're buying paint, when you're buying supplies, when you're buying stuff like this, everyone wants these guys to do stuff at the PD, public safety building, at the community center. That comes out of this building maintenance budget, and so anything that goes wrong has to absorb. So I try to put another 5,000. If that has to be cut out, then there's just going to be a lot more. We can't do this, we can't do that, but we're doing the best we can with the funds there. And the service contracts, just to let you know, it's 6,900 more, but again, like everything else in my budget, it's everything is broken out. Every single preventative HVAC contracts, they go up. Burglar alarms at all those buildings, fire alarms at those buildings, fire alarm testing. We've added an elevator PM contract in the last few years, sprinkler testing, pest control. One of the things we weren't covering in this line was on generator preventive maintenance. We had a contractor coming out of and doing some work on the generators, but now we have a better preventive maintenance because we have generators at the town hall, the public safety building, the field service building, the community center, old dispatch, because that's the communication. Well, we added that, so that's one of the bigger increases in here is to make sure these generators are properly maintained. And then the last thing on this line, because as I said, there's not a lot in building maintenance, is the heating oil, propane. There is an increase, just to let you know, to get back to the guts of how we put this together. We have a very favorable propane contract. It's $1.39. The buildings on propane are field service building, public safety building, town hall, old highway garage. That's the biggest fuel source we use, 37,000 gallons a year. With a very good contract. The community center is on natural gas. Natural gas has been going up a lot the last, so we've seen a lot of pressure on that. That's an Eversource. The only buildings we have left on fuel oil are basically the fire departments. NFD headquarters, Station 2, and Flanders Fire. That's about 10,000 gallons a year. And Another reason this is going up is I got caught, just like the salt, I got caught into, oh, it's been mild, we don't need that much into this, but we have to take the overall cumulative. This year is, we're getting slammed with heating bills, so we have to be a little more conservative with those numbers. We can cut that back, it just, it'd be like this year, and you have a little colder year, and all of a sudden, you're way over the budget, so. And building maintenance has less room to make up for any, like if the electricity or heating oil went over, there's really not anywhere else that I can make it up because we're maintaining the building, so I try to make sure we have enough so we don't have to come back. That one was quicker. Do you have any questions on it?
No, I know it was a tough winter this year, so,
Still is.
yeah, it still is.
Any, Ann?
No.
Roseanne? Pretty straightforward? Are we good with this one?
Yeah,
Okay, Joe, thank you.
Thank
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it. Thanks for being here tonight.
I don't think I dare to ask to have the heat turned up.
Here? It fluctuates. It goes
I get
up.
changed the number then.
Thank you very much.
yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Thanks for all that you do.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Oh, I started wearing
Yeah,
thick
that's
socks.
exactly it.
Let's see.
Yeah, true.
Next on our agenda here is the East Lyme Public Library. Oh,
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
thank you.
No, it's a very nice report. I've seen it.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank you very much.
So my name's Christopher Larson. I'm the Assistant Director of the East Lyme Public Library. I will just be giving you a summary of our budget request. For the fiscal year 25, we received a 6.53% increase in town funding. For fiscal year 27, we are requesting a 7.16% increase. In preparing that budget, we have worked to control costs wherever possible. We will decrease spending in 3 categories: maintenance, operations, and materials. However, increases are necessary in the remaining 3 categories of salaries, benefits, and utilities. Salaries reflect a modest 2.75% pay increase for staff, and as in previous years, staff will also absorb an increased share of health insurance costs. Benefits assumes a projected 14% increase in health insurance premiums for the next year. Our utilities have increased due to a significant rise in our phone service with Frontier, and that was a cost that we took on at the end of the fiscal year 25. So we had originally planned to replace about 10 staff computers this year in order to fund a new children's department employee. We reduced that number to 5. This is a part-time employee. So that funding has been set aside for fiscal year 27 to replace the remaining 5 computers. You said no, the computers that we have are about 10 years? 10 years old, and we're already, we can't update them to the latest Windows software. The proposed budget also includes a small allocation for additional summer staffing support and a modest stipend for grant writing. Funding also to allow the library to be open on Sundays during fiscal year 27. So overall, this request reflects a careful cost management while continuing to invest in staff, technology, and expanded community access. That's what I have. Any questions?
Roseanne, we'll start on your end. Do you have any?
I'm all set.
You're good? Okay, I've already reviewed this. Ann, any?
No, not at this time.
Candace?
Not at this time, no.
Just real quick, I know I might have missed it. How many new computers are you talking about getting?
We already did upgraded 5, so we're looking at just an additional 5.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any trade-in value on the old computers if we stayed with the same suppliers or anything? The old ones are just,
No.
they're just done for?
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, the old computers can just get recycled, so there is no actual value to them other than their recyclable value. Yeah.
Can you consider partnering possibly with the Board of Education?
For the computers?
Yeah.
So we typically, do we go through Lion for our computers?
No, actually, we do them independently.
We're doing
They
it
want
then?
to from Lion, but-
So, yeah, I guess that could be something we could look into.
Yeah, I mean, partnering is really a great idea
Yeah.
on so many levels. We do a tremendous amount just in town, and we also collaborate with other towns. And it very well could be a substantial savings.
Yeah.
And/or something that they're maybe refurbishing, or they're fantastic over there for a resource. So it might be move of you.
Would I be able to talk to, who could I talk to about that?
I would approach Jeff or Annalise.
Okay.
That'd be a good idea.
Let them know I sent you.
I will. Thank you.
Mariana is the finance director too, so she would know the numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she's another one.
That is a good idea. And
Mariana Stevens.
now they retire, now the conversations we have with the Board of Ed, they retire, they use the MacBooks, right? Or Chromebooks. Chromebooks
And then they get like this laptops for the
for the older
high
kids.
school kids. Yeah.
I'm wondering if those Chromebooks, which I think become unusable for the high school, I wonder if those are useful for the library or in any way, if that's something we could look
It's
into.
definitely worth the conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would think
yeah.
so.
I think overall, sure.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe there's some usefulness we can get out of those old computers. Great idea. Thank you,
Yeah.
Candace, for that. Okay, any other questions? I think we're good. All right, thank you very much. Appreciate you
you.
being here tonight.
Thank you.
All right, next is section 418, that's the Commission on Aging. That's just a few sheets beyond where we are right now. In your book, you can see it. The two purple divisions.
Oh, okay. I made my own.
Yeah. Before, yeah, Madam.
Go ahead. No, go ahead, Gid.
No, I just, do we have we have a lot of the old budget books. And I have 4 or 5 of them. I wonder if we should pull if anyone,
That'd be smart.
I've got them all piled up in my garage.
but we could take, but we
Is that
could,
what I don't
Pretty much.
but I'm wondering if we couldn't pull at least the tabs out of the ones that we're not referring to all the time.
Yeah, is that enough fun with me?
Okay, never mind. It's a great use of time and, yeah. Yeah, no, all right, never mind. Okay, forget it. I'm sorry. Let's turn to your presentation, which is far more interesting than anything I have to say.
Oh, I don't know about that. Thank you. So, hello, I'm Kristen Karamanico, the Senior Center Director. Mike Beckich, the Commission on Chairperson, is here with me today. Thanks, Mike, for coming. All right, we've got the slides. We can go on. Yep. So you may ask, what does the Senior Center do? So we support age 55 and older. We offer a variety of services, including social events, health and wellness programs, supportive resources, as well as transportation services. Our budget allocation ensures delivery of high-quality programs, the maintenance of well-equipped facilities, and the efficient operations of services that benefit our older adults. We have, under our operating budget, our general fund, which is for the senior center operations, as well as staff salaries. And then we have our special revenue fund, funded by revenue and donated funds, not taxes, for wellness programs and special events. By strategically planning our budget, we maximize our resources to ensure that funding is directed to the areas of greatest need. This approach allows us to sustain essential programs while fostering community spirit through engaging events and activities. So our budget that we're proposing is status quo. Biggest reason is because we're really out of space to add much more. So to operate, one note I must mention is that we have over 60 volunteers, which can significantly contribute to saving the town's budget by providing essential services and support without incurring any cost. You can switch. Oh, I have these out of order. Okay, so I'm just sharing the slide with all the senior center programs that we offer. Most of them are up there. I can still think of a couple we can add. But you see we have exercise classes to games, hiking, lifelong learning. We do everything at the senior center. People come in all the time and cannot believe all the programs that we do offer. Okay, slide. Our senior population in East Lyme, you see I have the state of Connecticut and East Lyme. The population over 60 is 6,249, which is 33.6% of the population of East Lyme. Population over 65 is 57%, which it was 4,742 people. 56% are aged 65 to 74, 29% are aged 75 to 84, and 15% are aged 85 plus. Senior housing complexes in East Lyme, we have 563 units. And the last one, 10-year projection, some of our goals, renovate the senior center facility to have a dedicated health service area and some outdoor space, increase in number of attendees, increase innovative quality programming, increases services, transportation. We'd like to have 24-hour notice no longer needed, and again another new bus. Staffing, evening and weekend staff would be great. Kitchen staff, transportation coordinator, marketing, improve community awareness and branding. I did pass out to everybody a customer service satisfaction survey. Did you have any time to look at that? I did give it to you before the presentation. We have all goods and excellence. And any questions?
No, I'm all set, thank you.
Yeah, I don't have any questions. I do want to congratulate you for the work that you do, and you do a tremendous amount, and all of the volunteers. And I mean, again, we're built on relationships here in East Lyme, and it just shows in pretty much every department, but yours is outstanding.
Thank you so much.
And I thank you for the grants that you write and all of those
Thank
wonderful things also.
Thank you.
She has in the past, yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I just have a quick question. Under operating budget,
Yes.
it says the goal is to continue building fund balance. Can you just explain what that means exactly?
Kevin, do you want to help me out with that one? How?
Fund balance,
There you go.
okay, just so everyone knows, if you can't hear yourself, no one can hear you at home. So, fund balance, there's special revenue fund. So whereas the general fund has a 17% fund balance target set by the Board of Finance,
Yeah.
there isn't really one on a special revenue side, but we're trying to build or at least maintain their fund balance on the special revenue side. I don't know the exact dollar amount off the top of my head for the Commission on Aging. It was rather high last year. It was, I think, approaching about 100% fund balance, and as such, the Commission on Aging appropriated money to remodel the senior center with that money. There was money set aside with ARPA under a senior center ARPA tranche of money, $55,000. Does that sound about right?
Yes.
There was about 55,000 set aside with ARPA funds, and then what did we use? 100,000, I think it was, of the senior center special revenue funds. Does that sound about right? So I think it was totally about maybe 90.
Do you remember? It was
But,
just about 100.
We used
yeah.
the majority of their fund balance to renovate the senior center. Every year, it was a great use of the fund. Every year, they do generate a slight profit on all the programs and events and everything that goes on there. And as such, they're able to renovate and do the majority of the renovations at the senior center.
Nice.
And there's still another phase of it to be done outside
Yes.
with a pergola and drainage and.
And some stuff for the kitchen as well.
Okay, understood. And then the other question I have then, and this is really for Kevin, not
Okay.
you. So do the other departments have these special revenue funds
Only,
too?
only two. The Commission on Aging and Park and Rec share the same special revenue fund.
Okay.
So Park and Rec has, I think it's Fund 18 or something like that. They share. It's split 50-50 really, Senior Center, Park and Rec.
So whatever money they get, they split? Or is
No,
there
I
two
mean,
separate?
it's two separate. We
The fu-
totally account for it separately.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, understood. Okay, so this is, I saw the room where you had like new tables and chairs and I think a rug, is that?
Yes, and we
what
just
you
had an open
reviewed?
house, so that's why I
looks
shared the
fabulous.
newsletter too.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes.
Yes, we were
Okay,
able to
now-
get
now
some
I
new chairs and
understand.
tables and the carpet and,
Great.
Partitions.
yes, some new handicap doors for the bathrooms as well.
Oh,
Replaced
good.
some glass in the front door. So,
Good.
yeah.
It was very nice. You had your
Yeah.
open house last week.
We had our
and,
open house last week.
It was very nice, and really got to see all those wonderful additions, and we've benefited from it. These chairs that we're recycling, that we're sitting in tonight, were the old ones.
Yes, oh, yes,
And
that's right.
a little better than what we had. Okay.
It was
Thank
budgeted to get you guys new chairs. We did cut it. So, sorry.
So enjoy what you
That's in my
have.
back
But
pocket.
thank you, no, in all seriousness, thank you for all that you do there. And,
Thank
you know, every time you go over there, tough to find a parking spot. There's so much going on. And there's a lot of people, happy faces, that are enjoying that phase of their life. And you do an awful lot for them. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And I have to just say, we could not do it without the support of everybody, every department. I mean, we really do work really well together.
Yeah, they
So,
do a great
yeah,
job.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do any of the senior housing facilities run their own programs, or do they depend on our town services primarily?
No, they do have their own programs as well, but we do send them, newsletters every month, and we do encourage them to come over to us as well. But they do. They have HEPA buildings in Twin Haven, and they do have some of their own.
So just one more quick question, just popped in my head. The senior buses, where are you storing them now?
Oh, they're back at the senior center. It's been very nice.
Okay.
Yep, and so far.
So far, so
okay.
good. We
So far,
won't,
so good.
Great.
Don't bring it up.
Yeah.
knock on
Yeah,
wood. right?
Back on wood. Yeah.
Talk about the buses over there.
For anyone listening, they're not really there.
They're really, I know.
No, we got rid of them.
But it's nice because they're there, so now when the drivers come in, it saves like a half an hour a
right there.
day at
Yeah.
least, because they're right there, so.
Yeah.
And with all of the storm, that's another thing, like, every department has helped us, with clearing off the buses and shoveling our, it's
Yeah, that's a big thing. with us.
Everybody's
This,
been
Yeah,
Yes.
everybody works well together.
working
Yeah,
well
it's great.
together, so.
All right, unless there's anything else, well,
Thank you.
thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And finally, we have the capital projects, CNRA, and Joe, you're going to. No, this is capital non-recurring expenses. Where is it?
Thank you.
Do we have a sheet on this, or is there something in here on it?
This is our committee.
Public Works. Is this Public Works? No.
Oh, this is what you're talking about? Oh, okay, the capital
I'm
improvement.
going to speak.
Okay, 'cause
Tell
I-
you, like, what did he say?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
okay.
Later.
There's a whole set.
But there should be a whole packet, but
Yeah, okay,
Thing, right?
yep, that's what we did. I thought it was something else that I didn't
No.
know about, that's why I was like.
this is
oh,
just
what
notes that,
Yeah, no, this I know.
Should be,
so,
I'm way too familiar with this.
if not, we can share it. It's fine.
So I'm here in another capacity. I'm Citizen Joe Bergal, because thank you for this board for voting me as a citizen onto as your representative. And little to my awareness, I was voted as the chairman of this committee, so I'm giving an update on, I'm not going to go over the projects, and I certainly do, but I kind of want to let you know how the process, 2 of your members were on that, so they're aware, but I just want everyone else to know. We met. I mean, this all happened very quickly, so I'm very proud of this group. We had our first meeting only less than a month ago, January 13th, and we stuck to the 2 members that was as the charge of this group, 2 members for the Board of Selectmen, 2 members of the Board of Finance, 2 members of the Board of Ed, public representative, and Roseanne and Ann were on that. We jumped right in on the 20th and heard from the different departments, heard from police, fire, emergency management. Then, just so everyone knows, we toured Community Center, Samuel Smith Homestead. We toured the facilities that were showing up in the SIP, so the committee had better understanding of what was going on. We went to Brybrook Park because it was a project from Parks and Rec. We went to the McCook Seawall to see how that was doing. Went to Nyack River Boardwalk, and we ended up at the fire station headquarters. We had Parks and Recs and Public Works on 127. Just so this committee knows, the other members, and I know that might have been a concern of this board, but I basically kind of kept my mouth shut as best as possible on Public Works matters and had my deputy discuss them so I could sit back and be a member. Just so I know 2 of the members knew that, but I just want you guys to know I kind of stood back and didn't really speak on my projects because that would kind of sway the voting. Public Works finished on, and then General Government came up on the 29th, and then IT and Board of Ed. I always say this, these meetings this week, we met 8 times in less than a month, and I know that's a lot, and we got to, thank you, we got to February 5th, only about 2 weeks ago, and we started our deliberations, and we went over the process. Let me just tell you so everyone knows. Dan Cunningham and Kevin Gervais gave us a target where it needed to be. We started with $11.7 million worth of projects, and we understood the fiscal realities of the town and that there's $112 million of debt. So it started with Mr. Cunningham and Kevin giving us a $7 million target, so we had to cut $4.7 million. That was painful, but we went, just to understand the process, we went department by department. We had a discussion like it was a general government, discussed, okay, what do we remember was the important parts of this? Everyone understood that we were going to have a motion second to remove things. So we were trying to eliminate things. We went through every single project. Every project got called. Do I have a motion to remove this? Do I have a second? Discussion, vote. I was very impressed. Almost every vote was unanimous because everyone understood the reality, and that's the whole purpose of what this committee, whether it's a Public Works, Public Works was voting to eliminate things, and Board of Ed was voting to eliminate things because that's what you need to do when you understand you got to get down. So the first meeting on the 5th, we cut $2.7 million worth of projects. We got down to $9 million, and then we came back. What our goal was the first time around is if there's any thought that we should maybe partially fund something or we really don't want to cut this, our goal was to don't cut it the first time around. Let's try to get to see where we got to the bottom line. And that's where we got to $9 million, and we realized we still got to cut $2 million more. So we went back on the 9th and second day of deliberations, and we really, we cut things like the McCook seawall and other things, and I'll explain that in a second. But there was we started with the big chunks, and then we ultimately did what we said we were going to do. We got down to $7 million, and that was our task. But it was a very impressive thing. I do want to mention there was one project in here that kind of slipped in. I have a letter. It's mentioned in my talking points, but there was one project at the end: Parks and Rec, youth football, soccer, and irrigation, and there's a letter that I can either read in. It's about a page long, or I can give you guys all, and you can read it later. But basically, it's a letter from our Chief Operating Officer, Ben North. Now, I'm the Director of Public Works. I oversee that department, but also the specifics of water diversion permits. And one of our major 7 wells in town is right next to the youth football field and stuff like that. I told my staff, you should talk to the Director of Parks and Rec to make sure this is kosher. And the Chief Operating Officer was not overly excited that, we have to shut off one of the town wells during dry periods, but we can now irrigate the fields so that we can't turn the wells on. So I will. Do you want me to read it in, or do you want me to give you guys copies of the letter? But it's something saying he's not supportive of doing it in this manner. I think there's my because I just got this. So my thought is we're going to go back to the CIP committee and look at, because there might be something where we could do something to still help the fields, but not have them drawing it. Because what this CIP that the Parks Rec was is to basically put a pipe in the Gordon Pond and suck the water out unmetered as much as they can. But we have a town well right next to it that we have to shut off in the summer, so we can't supply water. But so there might be something where we can hook into the town's pipes, give them raw water. There'll still be a charge, but it won't, I think there needs to be something worked out here, but as it's presented, the 50,000 is something that works against the water department.
So just a quick question, why do you shut off the well in the summer?
We're under stream, that's the part, thank you, that's a great question. By the DEP, we're under stream flow restrictions. So in the summertime, when it gets really dry, there's stream flows, and when they go down to a certain level, we have to shut off. There's 2 wells down there, 7 wells in town, but 2 of them are right there. One's on the north side, so if everyone's familiar, field 1, 2, 3, and 4, field 1, baseball field, Little League field, is to the north, and field 4 is by the football field. There's well 1A is just north of field 1. And then well 6 is the brick building over down by Lily B. So that's 2 of our main wells, and they're interconnected together. So they're tied to a DEP stream flow restriction when the levels of Gordon Pond, the same place that they're pulling water out to irrigate, when that goes down to a certain level, we have to shut off the wells and possibly buy water from New London. And Dan Cunningham is the chairman of the Water and Sewer Commission, so he's fully aware of the issues that. So it could be problematic for the water department for them to be doing it as presently constituted to take it out of. What they could be doing is tying to our system, the water system. If you take raw water out of our system instead of the drinking water that has chemicals, we could probably do it cheaper for the town.
Okay.
But this all came to me in the last 48 hours, so that's why 2 members of the committee, I want you to be aware that he wanted to write a letter to say that as presently constituted, that's something that the water department, so I just want you guys to be aware of it. So I will give copies of the letter to everyone here, and they can read them.
That'd be great.
But my message to the 2 members of your committee is that my recommendation is to bring us back to the committee when we meet again, and we'll try to get more details from Jerry and the things, so maybe we can still do something down there. It actually will come at a less of a cost, capital cost, but presently, as proposed by Parks and Rec, that's bad for the water department, and we should be aware. This committee should be aware of it.
So is there issues also, though? I'm thinking if they shut off the wells, they're still taking the water from Gordon Pond. Is there issues with DEP?
So what I'm proposing, or what was probably going to happen, is if they tie into the water system and get water from the water department at a cheaper rate because it'd be raw water, then when our wells are shut off, their irrigation shut off.
Okay.
Now, that's not ideal, but now they're not drawing on our drinking supply for the town, because they shouldn't be irrigating when we're in a drought condition.
Yeah, okay.
So that's the compromise potential. So I just want to make that aware, because that's 2 departments talking, which is important. Conclusions. The committee was very efficient and worked well together. It was a very consensus on almost everything. And I'm hoping that because of this work we did, you're sitting in front of you a $7 million capital plan that's a lot easier to work with because of all the hard work. Every project was vetted. Every project was asked hard questions. You can ask your members that were on it, but it was not an easy process, but I think we did the right thing for the town. And the last thing that this committee is tasked with is, as I said, we voted for all the things to push through for this CIP. But part of this SIP committee's charge is to also, at the town meeting, the town approves a 5-year plan. So we're going to meet again in the next few weeks and say, okay, all the projects that were cut, do they fit into tier 2, 3, 4, 5, or do they get bounced? Because we have to then do a 5-year plan that then again comes back to this board to say, okay, here's the 5-year plan, and Kevin can use that for capital planning, and then that's the one that actually gets, it's the only thing that actually gets approved at the town meeting, I believe, is the capital plan, because everything else goes to referendum. So we have still work to do. We met 8 times in less than a month, so we gave everyone a hiatus of a few weeks, and we're going to be back in mid-March, and Ann and Roseanne were fantastic. But I think it was a really good process, and I'm here just to give you guys a heads up so you understood what the process was. The numbers are the numbers as far as what the projects are left, but the process was very transparent, it was very collaborative, and it was in the best interest of the town of East Lyme.
I was a timekeeper, 13 hours.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It was a lot of work.
Very thoughtful, though, and
Yeah.
worthwhile.
Yeah.
So to the board members, you have two handouts. There was one I just passed out today. This is the summary of CIP committee recommended projects. Earlier in your packet, when you initially got it, there was about 3 or 4 pages. Yep, this one right here. That's everything. So you guys can see what was kind of cut. And then this is just what was kind of pushed for the next round. Can I have a copy of the long one?
No, I have
The
the
original.
long one, the original
The
one.
original one, she wasn't here for that.
So I'm wondering, should Mr. North come to our
Thank you.
CIP meeting? To,
He
like,
can.
You know, just
I
stop
think,
in and
so
just kind of.
Mr. North and Jerry Locken have to, and I will sit in with them. And what my goal is, before we meet again, is to have an alternate plan that meets the water department's needs, but meets there. And I think it will come at a lesser cost,
Okay.
which
that
is always a win.
Yeah.
But I don't want a project there, and then all of a sudden you hear from the Water and Sewer Commission's like, what's this project, you know?
Well, yeah, I know. That's what I'm thinking.
And-
Rather get Jerry.
And it came up with, I was sitting at, we meet with, I meet with our utility staff every week, and I brought it up and says, just so you know, this project is going on, and they were like, what? So, like, shame on me, I should have jumped in, but it's a diversion permit that Mr. North is very familiar with,
Yeah.
so.
I think what would work is if, we can come to some agreement between Parks and Rec and Water and Sewer and sort of iron out some of the concerns and details, then bring that to the Capital Improvement
Correct.
Committee, and then ultimately to the Board of Selectmen.
Yeah, I mean, between.
There's a lot of-
Mr. Locken should
lot
probably
of
report back
intricacies.
to the committee after talking to Ben, and Ben could be there. Everyone wants to work together, it's not
Yeah,
like
yeah,
this project
exactly.
shouldn't happen, it's just that we have a glitch.
Yeah.
You're pulling unmetered water out of the thing. I mean, they have you're not allowed to take more than 50,000 a day in diversion. Well, how do they know how much they're taking? Nothing's metered. So then you can take all this water, the fields look great, and all of a sudden the town's wells are shut off for 3 weeks, and we're buying water from New London every day, and we're in a water shortage. But then you look at the fields look nice. That's not going to go over well. So we're basically avoiding a problem before it happens. I just
Yeah,
wanted you
so
to be.
this just came to light, really, that this is an
Yeah.
issue, so we're going to try to,
With everything, the meetings came bang, 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 so I
Yeah.
just went over with my staff recently that this is
Yeah.
on there, and they're like, oh, we need to talk about this, so.
there's some intricacies of water chemistry and things that probably don't need the board,
Yeah.
bore the board with, but we'll try to iron those out.
I mean, I almost afraid of even telling the Board of Selectmen, because it's really, it should be broad, and I apologize that you guys are hearing for the first time, it just came up, but like, this is definitely a matter that needs to be vetted back to the committee, but it's just all timing, and we're talking about capital projects, so
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that the water department was represented, that,
Appreciate that.
I'm
that,
glad they found it now instead of
Oh,
later
it's-
on.
Yeah.
Do you know what
This-
I mean? When
this is a
all of a
good
sudden
move.
everything's getting shut off.
this
and
would have been a New London Day article
Yeah, exactly.
that we provided.
I love those. No, okay, so, all right, so, any questions about that? And we're not gonna, we're
No,
not.
I don't know, yeah, I just,
Yeah,
you have $7 million in front of you, it started at 11.7, so we made some major
Yeah.
cuts that were very
Yeah.
painful,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was the right thing
Very
to
good
do.
work.
yeah, great work on that committee. Joe, thank you for chairing it. You did a great job. You
Yep.
really did. I want everybody to know just, and how fair you were, even though you're ahead of our public works, but you
cut a lot.
you made some tough decisions,
Yeah.
and they were objective decisions, and I think that didn't go unnoticed by everybody. So
Well,
thank
you're a
you.
taxpayer, you get it.
It's true. Thank you, Jim.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right. Are we ready to adjourn for the evening? We're not going to deliberate. Yeah. Okay.
Well, before we adjourn, can I, all right, where's my agenda? So I had asked and requested that public comment be added just because it is a public meeting, and it's not on there. So I want it in the record that I am asking for that. That way there is an opportunity if somebody wants to come in and, have comment on anything that we're talking about. And granted, just to note, there is no one in the room at this moment, but it's still not the point. I kind of feel like it's almost as though we're not giving the opportunity, I think it should be on there. So I just want to publicly say it.
Good. All right, so we already have some agendas that have been filed.
Would public comment go at the end of the meeting or the beginning?
As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really matter. I asked and I requested it last week in an email, and I had asked the question just of Sandy, and the response was basically, I can't remember the exact word for word, but go ahead.
I said that we have never, since I've been here in 10 years, had public comment on these meetings because the public comes to the public hearings.
Got it, yes. And then I forwarded it to Dan, just respectfully requesting that it be added. If it's a public meeting, we should have the opportunity for people to comment, whether or not they're here or not, right? That way, I mean, nobody can say, well, geez, you're not being very transparent or giving people the opportunity. And additionally, we could actually add a link onto the website where all of the information for the budget is. That way, if somebody wants to make a comment or a question, they can send it in via link.
You mean on
Is
the,
everything on, Kevin? I think everything's already on the town website.
It is. Is there
yeah.
a link so that somebody could make a comment or send in a question?
Yeah, my email's on there, and I think there's like a total form on the
Did-
finance page.
Is there?
Yeah, I think so. I can't tell you exactly what it is, but.
Okay, yeah, well, as long as it's there, that would
sounds
be
like there's
great.
a mechanism?
Yeah.
So easy enough, just to add in public, do you think it would make sense to do it before we review the budgets or afterwards, Ken?
I would say after. I mean, it's just an opportunity. That way, if somebody's listening, they
Here's
can,
something.
you know.
So you want me to amend the agendas?
Why don't we just, since you've already sent out the agenda, maybe we just, for the next one, we'll just amend the agenda at the beginning of the meeting? We can do that verbally? Is that,
Yeah.
for the ones that have already been?
It's there.
To say, because we've already sent out all of the various agendas, but we can say right now, while we're still on the record, is that in the future, we intend to verbally amend the agenda to allow public comment at the end for the future agendas that have already been filed, and then in the future after that, we'll make sure we do it.
Yeah, I just think it's a good idea.
It is a good idea.
Is that different from public delegation?
It's not really, I think it's just
So
kind of,
public comment is never required. Like, we don't even have to have public comment at our regular meetings.
Okay.
Public comment is something that is never required. If we want to have a discussion between the board without public comment, because it's the portion of the process where you're kind of mulling everything over. The public is paying attention, they're going to read the minutes and read all the documents that were given today, and then generally they come with all that to the public hearings and say,
I got
okay,
it.
at this meeting, this was talked about, you know what I mean? So I think that's what the process has always been.
Okay.
Just
Well,
to-
yeah, and I appreciate you, Sandy. It's nothing, you know, I'm not trying to be critical and I'm not getting personal. It's just, I think that it's almost just kind of limiting. That's all I'm saying, you know, I mean,
So we can add
why
in
not
easy
give the
enough, in the
opportunity for
future, we'll
people
put public
to have the
comment?
comment or to be able to have, you know, communication with us on relatively what we're discussing. That's all. Are we going to actually discuss, you know, like where we're at with the budget or like how
not
we're
tonight, we're just
reflecting
gonna,
on it?
we're gonna listen, and then we
Nothing.
will have we'll have sessions for deliberating. That's
Okay.
typically how we do it.
Yeah, we have 2 meetings
Right,
for
but
deliberation.
what about like expectations for district heads that are coming in? So, I mean, I think that it's fair to say that the increase is shocking. So, I mean, are we putting out there the expectation for our district heads to decrease? Or are we waiting for them to come in and then telling them?
So the process as we've had traditionally, we have these meetings where the department heads come in and defend their budget, and we listen and we take our notes, and then ultimately we will deliberate on the budgets, and then we will rely on what we've heard in our deliberations, and we'll come up with line items that we think could be decreased, and then we will ultimately take a vote on all those changes. So we're listening now to what they say, and then we will deliberate and make changes, and then we'll vote on it. And then after that's done, then that entire budget will go to the Board of Finance.
Right,
And then it'll be a similar process within the Board of Finance.
right.
They
I just
will-
wanted to be clear and on record that, you know, I have no intention of sending this that we have right in front of us to the Board of Finance as is. Absolutely not.
Well, that's
And I just thought that it would be fair to, you know, have those expectations out there, you know, for our district heads when they're coming in, mindful that, understandably what they've come forward with, but we definitely have to find a balance here. So just as an example, you gave an expectation to the CIP
Right.
commission, right? Which I completely agree with, all right?
Mhm.
And I think that it's only fair to put that out there to our district heads ahead of time. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I mean, it's up to us ultimately as a board to listen to what they say, and, I mean, we could ask for suggestions from department heads, but we've already gone, I mean, I've gone through that process with the department heads, and that's how my budget that I'm presenting to this board was developed.
Okay,
So
so
now
I'm glad you
this'll
said
be-
that.
yeah.
So the past two budgets, when we've gotten the budget book.
It's already
we've-
done.
Right, but the notation of what you have decreased has been there.
And it's
Still
here,
there.
and it's here too.
Okay.
You can see that it's the column that says for Selectmen's budget.
Yep.
That reflects the differences after, so I went through with every department head and met with them. So they submitted their budget to me, and then I went through with them and tried to trim where I thought appropriate, and they did have that opportunity. We had that exact conversation. All right, you tell me, what is the best you can do? What areas can you trim from? And they made those suggestions, and I ironed that out, and that becomes my budget that I present to the Board of Selectmen. So we've been through that process one time, and now they're presenting to the entire board their rationale for needing what they need in their budget.
I got
So
it.
we get to listen to that, and then the Board of Selectmen gets to deliberate further, and we may be able to find some additional places to reduce the budget. And then, and we can have in mind, you know, an ultimate goal, and that's for us to develop. And then, of course, that'll be combined with the Board of Education budget, which we don't have any control over. And hopefully we get to a number that is palatable and acceptable to the public, and one that we can
Well,
live with.
sustainable. I mean,
Right.
sustainable, right? I mean,
Right.
I think that's so fair. And when you look at the growth from 26 to a 30 mill rate, I mean, that's unabsorbable. That's unacceptable for me. That's unacceptable.
Right,
It's
so we have an
irresponsible.
opportunity
So
to
it's
find
not
areas
something
where we
that
can try to get that down to where we feel it is acceptable as a board. I mean, it's not my decision at this point. I did the best I could to come up with something to hand off to this board as a starting point.
Okay.
And now we go the next level. And there'll be adjustments that we make, and we're not in the deliberation process phase yet. But right now, we're in the listening phase. It's kind of like a jury. We're going to listen to the evidence presented to us, and then we'll have an opportunity to discuss it amongst ourselves as the board, and then determine what is absolutely necessary to keep the town running in the best way possible, and what things can be eliminated, understanding that there's an awful lot of pressure on taxpayers, and try to achieve other certain overarching goals. You know, the goal of trying to reduce our debt service. That's a big problem that we have that has accumulated from prior administrations over many years. So the idea, and one of the things I have stated several times, is, you know, the mantra that needs, not wants. And what that really is saying is that we can't afford any more big projects. We have to live within our means with what we have.
Agreed.
And we can't go out and bond a multi-million-dollar project until we start to trend our debt service, instead of going up every year, it has to peak and start coming down again. That's not going to happen overnight. But the way that that can happen is by paying for more out of cash that comes in and borrowing less. It's really a simple concept. It's one that all of us employ in our households. Don't put it on the credit card, try to pay it out of your cash in your pocket. Well, we have to do the same thing.
No, you don't have to sell that part to me at all.
Yeah.
Maybe the amount of money possibly to talk about, I think.
Right, and that's
Right,
going to be a
within
discussion that we
reason, yeah.
have.
Right.
How aggressive do we get at retiring our debt? How much can we afford? How much can people stomach to try to turn that corner? And that's what we have to do. I think that is our obligation to the taxpayers. And the only way we can do it is to try to reduce in every other little area that we can, so we have that extra money to pay for the things that we have to pay for right now in the capital plan, and not put that into a 5-year, or 10-year, or 20-year bond. That's really the large concept, and that's what we're going to try to do. And a lot of people, I'm hoping people will eventually start to understand that that's what we're trying to accomplish, and that's why the numbers look high, and we're going to try to get them down. But we're doing it so 10 years from now we'll be in a better position than we are now. And I hope, I don't know who's going to be sitting here 10 years from now, but I hope that theme and that philosophy continues year after year, so we get to a better place.
Is it in the budget that shows all of our previous debt that we're trying to have?
We do have a pie chart that shows.
Yeah, so we have
There's a
so
pie chart.
we do have a meeting, I think it's next on the 23rd, I believe, to go over debt service, but I think it's helpful, and I can meet with any of you guys individually to explain it.
Yeah.
The town currently has $82 million of outstanding bonds, and an additional $30 million of bond anticipation notes. So essentially, we have a mortgage for $82 million, and then we have a credit card for an additional $30 million. This year, the CIP committee, Dan and I kind of came to a number and said, okay, $7 million is about the most the town can afford for capital projects.
Yeah.
We're going to try to pay $1 million in cash. The rest has to be bonded.
Okay.
Okay. In the debt cert, so if you pull up the, I can't remember exactly the section, but there's a section there where it's debt service, it's called. There's a principal and interest piece. Principal, we're paying less than $5 million. We're going to bond for 6.5, roughly, $1 million. We're adding to the deficit. We're in a
Right.
debt spiral.
Right.
So we're adding more debt year after year than we're paying off. I've been trying to break that camel's
Yes.
back for a couple
Yes.
years now,
Good.
with little avail. But really, what the town needs to do is at least $2 million in cash capital, if not $4 million in cash capital. For those at home that want to just do a quick little, comparison for our town to other towns, Madison pays more than $5 million in cash. They bond for very little. Waterford, they're a little different. They have that giant glowing nuclear reactor over there that pays them a lot of millions of dollars. But Waterford, they're going to buy a new fire truck for over $2 million in cash.
Wow.
Right now, our threshold for cash versus bonding is between 50 and 100,000.
Wow.
There are millions.
Wow.
So we have
Loses its value as soon as they buy it. The fire.
and we're paying
the
interest
town,
on that over 5,
Yeah.
10, 20 years, right?
Yeah.
Same with our roads. Roads should be paid for in cash. We're
Right.
bonding the full 700 to 800,000 a year. So those need to be paid for in cash. But the problem is there's this time period where you have to pay down your bonds and your debt service while increasing cash to capital. That's kind of where we are. And that's the pressure point because you're still paying off your bonds and adding to cash capital, right? So you kind of have to, you'll deal with the devil and play both of them.
Right.
So that's what I've been trying
Right.
to increase cash capital. Last year I tried to do, I think, 1.35 million. This year I'm at 1.5 million. That got reduced to about 1.1, I think it is we're at.
Yeah.
So that just slowly has to keep creeping up,
Okay.
right?
Yeah, so
to
we pay
reduce our
out
reliance
more.
on debt.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's
That's
the biggest thing facing the town.
Yeah.
Besides operating is the debt spiral we're in.
So
Yeah.
then the other thing is too, as we deliberate, correct me if I'm wrong, Kevin,
Mhm.
but he can show us this is where we are. This
Yeah.
is the
Oh, that'd
the
be
amount.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
So-
that way you can
Yeah,
see,
yeah.
you know,
I'll
okay,
have it up
we're
on the
at
screen,
this
you'll be
number.
able to
I think
see
If
it.
you want to get to
taxpayers
this
would love
number,
to see that.
yeah, if you want to
Yeah.
get to this number, that's what we did with the CIP. We went through it and we're like, okay, we're 2 million off. We need to go back. We
Yep.
came back.
So I like that
the
model
next-
myself,
Yeah.
because there is a.
Yes.
Well, and
there's
it
an
ties it
expectation
into an
here.
operating, so that the
Right.
plan is, you build out the capital side, right? So we know the CIP committee is tasked with building out a 5-year capital budget. Once they build up the capital budget and say, okay, next year we have another $7 million of capital projects, because the number's not going down for capital.
Right.
It's about $7 million a year. But next year, I'm anticipating bonding $6 million. The year after, $5 million. And in
Nice.
order to flip that, we have to
Yes.
increase the cash capital side of things.
Yeah.
We want to get to the inflection point
Yep,
Right.
where we finally
Right.
flip.
when we flip. So when we're borrowing less than we're paying off.
Right.
And once we get to that point, then we're on the road, then we're stopping that downward spiral.
Yeah.
We have to stop the spiral. And,
Yeah.
and Kevin has been a champion for this, and,
Good.
and he made me a believer, and so we've got to try to do it. It's gonna be painful, it's gonna be hard, we'll make cuts where we have to make them in other places, but if we can achieve that,
Yeah.
if we
It's a
can
big
achieve
turning
that,
point
then
for our
we've really
town.
done something for the town of East Lyme,
Yeah.
in a way that no other administrations have done that.
You're already paying $7 million for bonded projects. You're
Yeah.
paying about $4.5–5 million in principal, and you're paying about $2.5 to $3 million in interest.
That's
That $2.5 to $3 million is just
painful.
going out the door.
I know,
Yeah.
that's
You know,
painful.
Yeah.
And
So-
we cut what is it,
4.7 million.
million from those capital improvements.
Yeah.
What might be good, because and I don't know if it would work with the operations budget, but with the capital, you know, we had a goal, and then we eventually hit that goal. And, you know, if you have a number that you're trying to reach, it might be easier for us to get there versus kind of saying, okay, we're going to cut this, and like, we don't really know where we're headed.
So on the
Do you
board
know
of
what I
finance,
mean?
on the board of finance, so I didn't tie it all the way in.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're doing a CIP, the 5-year projection. I'm tying that into bonding projections, right? Because there's a cash
Good.
capital
Yeah.
versus
Okay,
bonding
good.
piece of that.
Relationship.
The cash capital piece will then be added to our operating projections. So we're doing a 5-year operating projection to say, okay, if we know what our 3-year is for contractual obligations for salaries, let's just mimic that over the next 5 years. Take all the, health insurance, and just try to take all the factors we can, put a multiplier in, and then build out that budget for 5 years. Build out the grand list as well, so we can say, okay, we can reasonably expect the grand list to grow, 1% or 0.5%, whatever it is a year. What's the mill rate in 5 years from now?
Right.
We're over 40. If you look at my projections, it's like 43, 44.
Wow.
It gets scary because
Yeah.
that debt load in 3 years goes to over 10 million.
Wow.
We're at 7 million. So you're adding, when you think of a value of a mill,
Yeah.
right? Like when you're talking,
Yeah.
like we're talking like right now we're at 28.01 mils, where the projection is over 30. It's like 30.6-ish. The value of a mill is $2.8 million.
Wow.
So when you say, oh, we're gonna add $3 million to debt service, you're adding over a mill just in debt service. Before you touch any operating, that's just a whole nother mill that's got to be
Wow.
tacked on. So it gets frightening.
It does get
It
frightening,
is
yeah.
frightening, and it's
Yeah.
literally the example of just honestly living way beyond your
Your
means,
means,
Right.
right? Just
Yeah.
not on a residential level, but on a municipal level.
Absolutely.
How-
And then federal level's just even worse.
Absolutely.
But,
Look,
So,
I've seen
yeah,
it,
you
I've
don't
lived
have to
it.
sell
I
me
mean,
on that one for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was
and
a bankruptcy,
understand it.
I'm a bankruptcy lawyer for 30 years, and I know in the,
Live, remember that we're still live on a meeting?
Yeah.
Okay,
we're-
that's okay.
yeah, we're
Which,
live.
hey, you know what, I think that's a great thing, to
Yeah,
be honest
just
with you,
to
because
hear all-
about
Let
10
people hear
to
us.
15 minutes ago, if I had not kept talking, we would have been done and we would have been adjourned. Whether or not there's somebody here in the room or they're logging in and they're watching meeting minutes, I personally want people to understand the process, hear me, go through and try to find the best outcome for East Lyme. And that's it.
Well,
I
you know, it
agree
explains
with you
the-
100%,
It
Candace.
explains
You know,
what's going on with
It's the
this.
inside of it.
we want
Yeah.
people to understand that we're not sitting up
Absolutely.
here spending everybody's money and being
Right,
irresponsible and
right.
blowing it.
Well,
We,
yes.
we are doing the hard work and trying to do something that'll achieve results down the road. And it's always easier to make you feel good in the moment and artificially reduce the budget and cause a bigger problem. That's what's happened too many times. We're gonna try to change that, and that's what we're doing. And it's very good to have this discussion.
Yeah, I
So,
agree.
Yep.
I agree.
So, all right. We good now?
Hi, Pam.
Yeah?
My wife told me to give her a shout out. She's watching.
What's that? What?
I said my wife was watching. She's one of the 3 people watching. She said, "Give me a shout out, will you?"
All right. Hi, Pam. All right. Wherever you are. Okay, motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We're adjourned. Good meeting.